Alright, I'm running OBS Studio in the Ubuntu 19.04 beta, so I'm assuming this works. Let me know if you guys can hear me here in the chat. I won't be on too long. I have a few minutes before I start my day. I'm actually finishing up some laundry, so there was a very important article a few days ago on the ZDNet channel website. Alright, Johan is in the house. Welcome. You can hear me very good, Farron. Thank you. Alright, so we'll give this a few minutes. This was an unscheduled chat. I guess 99% of them are, right? I'm a horrible business person. Don't hire me for your business practice. Anyway. Looks like the ticker app is not working right in this beta, so let's go ahead and... music sounds good. Okay, very good. I can crank it down a little bit. Let's do this. You guys can hear me better. How's that on the music? A little better, not too loud? Alright, looks good on my end. I believe this is the latest OBS, 23.1.0. Again, this is a beta, so if it crashes, sorry. DT! DT says his Linux desktop stays in trouble. I know. Anyway, Edmund, music sounds good. Robert, good morning. KO, good morning. DT, I love the... How could I keep this clean? I love the terminal tomfoolery that you did the other day with the cow. I'm watching the video, and in my mind I'm saying, "Don't, DT, don't go there, don't do it." And sure enough, hey, now I know what the D stands for in DT. Ha ha. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Let me try the ticker feed again, but I think it's gonna work. Yeah, the terminal is not rated PG-13. Yes, it is. Alright, the ticker app is crashing. I like the ticker app. Darn it! I'll wait till the Ubuntu 19.04 gets finalized and catches up with the apps. Oh, the life of Linux. You barked up Pep once, ain't gonna happen again. Oh, you switched to Apple? Johan, good for you. Johan says devastation tube. Yes, that's what the D stands for. Watch his cow terminal video. Yes, that's what it means. Oh man. Anyway, once again, music is from the YouTube audio library. These are the tunes here. Yeah, my weather app works perfectly. I need a news feed app that just works like this. No fuss, no mess, no fancy colors. You know, no jazz, just works. You know, just works. Like Chromebooks, they just work. That's what I want. You know, or Apple, Macs, they just work. Yeah, you can complain about the price, but they work. Anyway, DT, how's the new PC? Baba Ubuntu, how are you? Good afternoon to you. How are you? By the way, DT, that looks like a nice, very nice, awesome machine. Excellent for YouTube. Good morning, Ben. How are you? All right, so all right, looks like we're good and stable here. Your PC is great now. I have put stable Arco on it. Really? Okay. Yeah, I think having an oil company for your distribution is perfectly slick. I mean, fine. Cyberpower PC. Okay, I've heard of those, Edmund. Yeah, I had someone comment. He bought a new laptop, and he says he wanted to completely erase Windows 10 to install OpenSUSE Leap. I'm like, whoa, 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 time out here. It sounded like he was a newbie. I'm like, whoa, 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 do not do that. No, 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 no. Back up your Windows 10 first, or buy a separate SSD drive. And I think he bought a separate SSD drive to try Linux, and that's fine. But if you are new, do not automatically erase Windows 10 to try a random Linux. No, 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 no. Do not do that. Hello, Sam. Bad Wolf. Yeah, it's if we have any newbies, and I should do a tutorial when I can, transitioning from Windows 7 or whatever to Linux. Haven't had time to do it yet, but if there is somebody new watching this and you have Windows 10 and don't have a clue, do not just erase your Linux partition. I mean, there's no way I can guarantee if you erase Windows that your Linux will work. So yes, DT says I need to let the noobs jump into the deep end sometime. So when they scream at me, I'll refer them to you, DT. Yes, I'm sorry, this is the stable channel. You must be looking for the unstable unstable channel. It would definitely be a learning experience, DT. I would have to agree. Bob says Linux machine gave up the ghost yesterday and back on Windows 10 and iMac. Okay. Well, again, this is something I'll talk about in the future video, but my friends who have Apple, they will not give it up. Period. They don't really talk much about the price. I don't think they like it, but it just works. You have none of the update shenanigans, update process, in Windows. None of that in Apple. It just works. The Apple service is fantastic from what I've seen, and I guess that's what you pay for. I don't need Apple or Mac to run this channel. I wouldn't mind having one just to test. Hello, David. Welcome. But right now, until we have a national Linux desktop and somebody really, really, really doesn't like Windows or Windows 10, the only viable alternative really is a Mac. Unless all they do is jump on the web, then pick up a Chromebook. For $200, I mean, really. $250 with a standard Linux operating system such as the Chromebook, you really can't go wrong. You really can't. Edmund says, too expensive. Yeah. It is for a lot of people, but also, Edmund, for a lot of people, maybe a lot more people, it's priced right because Apple products sell. And they sell because they just work. That's the reality of it. So how much is that worth? They don't force you to update. They don't upgrade or update at the most inopportune time. Some of the updates will not break your system. One of our friends has a Windows machine. Each time she does an update, she has to reinstall the graphics drivers. I've never heard that in Apple products, have you? And I guess that's what you're paying for. There is no substitute for good service or good quality. And in the end, I guess that's the price that people pay. Look, if those Apple products were junk, Apple will not be worth almost $1 trillion company. Let's face it, people are not going to buy junk. People may complain about the price. And that's fair, but anyway. Again, that's for a future topic. Sleepy is in the house. Welcome, Sleepy. Sergey is in the house. Alright, so let's go into the topic. Before I go, again, thank you for all your support and contributions to the channel. I'll make a decision here by the end of the month if I'm going to pick up a new machine or not. The AdSense revenue last month came up a little short. I had to cover that. So we'll see how things go. All right, let's go into the... but they do, Toss. What do you mean, Farron? Clarify. All right, this is from ZDNet. I'm just using the Reader app here. Let's go ahead and crank up the zoom here a bit. So again, this is from ZDNet. The Linux desktop is in trouble. Quick thing about this, it's not in trouble for us geeks. I think it's perfectly fine. For the masses, it's non-existent. Except for Chromebooks. Except for Chromebooks, it's perfectly fine. So this writer is a big believer in the Linux desktop, so am I. He used to run a site called Desktop Linux. I remember that. And he mentions that Linus Torvalds is tired of the fragmentation in the Linux desktop. He believes that Chromebooks and Android are the path toward the desktop or a standard Linux desktop. I think he's right. For better or for worse, I think he's right. Chromebooks have proven themselves. Of course, Android and smartphones have proven themselves. So why does he believe this? Because we don't have a standardized Linux desktop. Where have I heard that before? Anyway, this is from someone who is probably the father of the modern Linux revolution, the modern Linux desktop from Linus. We don't have a standardized Linux desktop. We have a standardized Linux laptop for the Chromebook, starting at $200 and up, and they sell very well. This person mentions Linux Mint, great for beginners. Easy way to install apps, but under the surface there are a half a dozen different ways to install programs. That makes life harder for developers. Torvalds wishes we were better at having a standardized desktop that goes across the distributions. I would have to agree. I mean, we've talked about this till we got blue in the face. You know, this is the last year for Windows 7 support, and except for Chromebooks, the only other option really is a Mac for a person who doesn't want to deal with Windows 10 updates. Scrolling down here, Torvalds likes Flatpaks. I use Snaps. A rivalry between Red Hat and Canonical, between Flatpak and Snaps. I don't know if it's a rivalry. Sergey says, even if you have a standard computer Linux, doesn't mean people will buy it. Oh, yes, they will. If I am the spokesperson, Sergey, for the Ubuntu or Linux Mint desktop and show them how long it takes to update Linux and Windows, and tell them you have a 30-day money-back guarantee, Sergey, they will buy it. Trust me. It's this, here in the States we have something called the silent majority. And I bet you a lot of people are upset with the unique Windows update process. I'll just put it to you that way. So if you show them that it's better, physically show them, not online, not in a video, show them the machine, physically show them that it's better, why wouldn't they want to at least try it? They got nothing to lose except their sanity, right? Okay, so yeah, Linux Mint, Flatpaks, Snaps, none of the major distributions, Canonical, Red Hat, SUSE, are really all that interested in supporting the Linux desktop. They all have them, but they're focused on servers, containers, cloud, and the Internet of Things. That's where the money is. I don't blame them. Linux is not a profitable subject. I've talked about this before. I think DT, you've mentioned this before. Linux is not a profitable subject. It's horrible. So I don't blame them. Now, except for Google, or at least with their Chromebooks, they've taken a shot at a standard laptop anyway. So that these big companies, I would have to agree completely, they're just not interested in a Linux desktop. The desktop is far from their priority. Instead, much of the nuts and bolts of the current generation of the desktop is set by vendor-related communities. Okay. Another major player in setting the tone of the Linux desktop are the smaller Linux communities. These include Mint, Manjaro, MX, Elementary OS, Solid. They're all doing good work, but they're also running a shoestring basis. Translation, they have very little money. There's also some words here on Linux Mint. I won't go into that. Apparently, these are not the words of a happy man. According to this, the developer, lead developer, Clem Lefebvre, is not a happy man. I don't know about that. Something about creating tensions and all this. Again, I can't verify this, so I can only go by what I see. Let's see. There's word here of the Linux Foundation. So such a desktop in turn would be more commercially successful than our current hodgepodge of desktops. It is a mess. For beginners, it is a mess. When I started back in 06, I was like, how many Linux choices? Anyway. This would mean that many more Linux desktop developers can make a living from their work. Yeah, if it was a commercially successful machine. That would improve the Linux desktop overall quality. Let's try to make this happen, shall we? I'm trying, man. I've been trying for 9 years. I've given you all I've got, Captain, but I cannot give you no more. In all its variations, Linux will remain a niche operating system for power users. Except for Chromebooks, that is the reality of this. I hope this article is wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm proven to be completely foolish. I really do. I will continue to support Linux, promote it as much as I can, but it's kind of depressing where you still cannot walk into a store and buy a Linux machine after 9 years of doing this. So that is the article. Looks like my washer stopped. I'll have to get to it here soon. Okay, let's go back to the comments, and I need to start my day. Again, welcome all. If I missed anybody, welcome to the channel. If we have any new people watching, please do stop by and say hello. Yeah, if we have a machine that we can show the people it's better, sir, I believe they will buy it. Yeah. Nobody takes action. Always discussing won't help. I've done what I can, GB2. I think Steve likes to focus on the newbies. How about something of an explanation of the Linux file system in comparison to Windows? I think there are some videos out there on the web, Sleepy, about that. I thought about doing that, but maybe not for new. I don't want to scare them. Yeah, I may talk about that in the future. The companies like Canonical won't care or do it. It would appear, again, they don't see the profit, and I don't blame them. I don't see the profit on this channel. This is a relatively small channel, so if I don't see it, why should they, invest in it? But Google has proven it can be done. Deepin is trying to make a standard Linux distro for China. Yes, it's called the privacy distro. Excuse me. Elementary OS is implementing Flatpaks. Very good. Canonical is busy with cloud and IoT. Could be. Way better to let pupils and students study Linux. At least some of them will buy a Linux machine. But that's just it. At least here in the States, Sergey, there is no Linux machine to buy. It's not there. Like here we have Best Buys, Walmarts. There's no. I don't see the machine. So, you have to buy it online. And for the newbie, that's not user friendly in my opinion. All right, Bad Wolf, take care, my friend. Yeah, I didn't catch the entire blog on Linux Mint, so I don't know what's going on there. I hope everything's okay at Linux Mint. It'd be a shame if we were to lose that. I won't be unhappy even if Linux remains at a low percent. I would be disappointed, Sergey, for all the work that a lot of people have done, including myself, a lot of time and money, and nothing comes out of it. So, yeah, people have been brainwashed to believe that something that is free as in beer is always going to be inferior to something that is paid for. Well, again, we go back to the problem. People cannot walk into a store and buy a machine just to let them see the potential of it, Vince. Yeah. Please tell me how you explain to someone how to get into the BIOS to install distro from when there are so many different ways. Oh, this is easy, Bob. I use ThinkPads. I tell everybody, buy a refurbished ThinkPad. This is how you boot into the BIOS. Problem solved. Yeah, that's not a problem. Yeah, and really, for people who have different machines, different vendors, just check the website. So you have an HP, go to the HP website, search support or whatever, how to boot into BIOS. That's not a problem, Bob. Yeah. I mean, I stick with ThinkPads because they have proven themselves with Linux. Easy to get into the BIOS. It may be scary for a newbie, but yeah, I don't think that's a problem. Chrome OS is no true GNU Linux. Well, I don't know what true GNU Linux is, but all I know is that it works. The Linux Foundation doesn't care about the Linux desktop. Linux is run by the board. Who has seats on that board? Companies like Microsoft. Well, they should put me and you on the board, DT. That's right. We will solve that immediately. I'll bring the caddy. I'll have the trunk freshly bleached. I don't really get this. So people say that Linux is problematic for the amount of distro. Yeah, Chrome OS isn't helping with that, but it's standard. Yeah, Chrome OS isn't helping. I'm not sure what you're saying, Farron. There are too many distros. Chrome OS is a standard for Google, for the Chromebook, and it's working fine. So, yeah, from what I understand, Chromebooks are fine. Even the ones that are $200, you get minimum 5-year support. That's not bad for a cheap machine. So, anyway. Johan likes peppermint. VMware has a member on the board. They were sued for violating GPL. Oh, that's right. A Linux Foundation board member violated the GPL. Ouch. So let's, oh, sorry, let me go back here. Lots of comments trying to catch up here, sorry. The amount of distributions out does not matter in the slightest. What matters is making one distribution to attract the most popularity to. The amount of distros to us geeks absolutely makes no difference because we're curious, so we will distro hop. I don't need more, but we will. For the masses, it absolutely matters. You want to pick one that works. Not the one that is the most popular or the most good looking or the most attractive or the most slick. The one that works. Farron. So for us geeks, I agree. The amount of distros makes no difference because we know which ones work. System 76, they're great. They don't have a machine for the masses. Again, they are a premium vendor, but we already have that with Apple. So that doesn't really help the masses. Without a computer manufacturing, mass producing, and advertising, this machine will be slow road for the... Well, Google has the resources, Sam, and so does Amazon. They've got the money. They've got the people. They can do it if they want to. So I'm thinking of the peeps who barely know how to turn on their PC. Yeah, I hear you, Bob. I hear you. Well, again, Chromebook is the standard, so... Sergey, you're not, my friend, you're not listening. They're not in the stores. At least here in the States. I don't know about overseas. I could be wrong, and that's fine. They're not in the stores. Okay? And they're not, the sweet spot is $400 for the mom and pops. I get what you're saying, Sergey, and you're correct, but they're not in the stores and they're not $400. When I walk into a Walmart, or here we have a Best Buy, see plenty of Windows, Apple machines. I like to see a Windows machine next to an Ubuntu or Linux Mint or a Gentoo or a Slackware machine. To me, it doesn't matter, just as long as it works. At a price at about $400, Sergey. And somebody like myself, hey, take a look at this new. Let me show the update process. Don't sneeze. Okay, update done. Let me show you the Windows 10 update process. Okay, go wash the car, change the engine, fix the spare tire, paint the house, and then come back. That's what I'm getting at. People like to be impressed. They like to be wowed. They like to be entertained. They like to be proven something that they didn't know existed. And these companies, they're not doing it, Sergey. They're not, again, I'm thinking in the eyes of a Windows newbie, a mom and pop, 1 or 2 kids. They don't have time to fix bugs. That is the mindset I have to put myself. It's hard after 13 years. It's difficult, I will admit it. But I have to take a step back and say, wait a minute, if I was completely new and I knew nothing about Linux except what I saw on the Total OS Today channel, hey, this dude Carmine says to try Linux. I'll walk into a store and there are 0 machines. 0, except maybe for the Chromebook. But there are nothing, nada, zilch, zip. That is the problem, Sergey. Standard Linux distro? Yes, it's called a Chromebook. Ba-da-bump-bump. Welcome, Master Standard Linux distro. Kyrie, welcome. But those companies are not on the floor for people to see trying. That makes a big difference. Yeah. You walk into these stores, there are Apple reps in there, and somebody showing Windows, and for Linux. And that's sad, because Linux has great potential. Great potential. If Microsoft made a Windows Linux edition, that would suck, but it would be it would be a standard. Yes. Micro Linux, there we go. Linux desktop. Oh, let me catch up here. I do need to get moving here, but I want to catch up with these comments. Thank you everybody for stopping by the way. Oh my goodness. Standard desktop LSD. No, you do not have to take LSD to run a system. Unless you're running Arch, just ask DT. So, oh man. Demonetize, what the heck? I'm starting a collection of demonetize. I can't believe that one video I did with Stephanie, our friend, got demonetized. Really, YouTube? Anyway. Too many choices, different wolf crab, but something like Mint on its own, even Ubuntu. Yep, Benjamin, I would have to agree. If there was only a standalone machine, it would make. There is. It's called a Chromebook, Bob. There is. There's a standalone. It's called a Chromebook. The Pixelbook has been described as flawless. From what I've read, it is the only Linux machine described as flawless. So there is. It is. It's out there. It's only one. That's the problem. There are not too many choices. Too many distros for newbies. Yes. Redo-roo. Never had a problem with HP and Dell. If you have a spare bugs, go System 77. Yes, I would have to agree. But can it come with the Best Buy test that they cannot? That's the problem. What if Ubuntu consolidated all the flavors? I don't see that happening. Master Linux, so if there's only one that's on version 5, I don't know what you mean, Master Linux. Most new people won't care about many distributors that are on the standard. They only care about the standard. It won't really matter unless they look. It only matters if they work. I stopped distro hop because I got sick of hopping from bugs to bugs. That's the only reason why. Distro hopping was fun up to a point. But the newbie, the mom and pop, is not going to distro hop. So that's one of the other reasons I stopped distro hopping again, to put myself more into the mind of a newbie. Company in Belgium that delivers laptops with a different OS pre-installed. Okay, all right. Maybe if someone built an easy way to install a different DE from a simple GUI, it might reduce the number of flavors. Possibility, yes. I'm not a computer tech But is the problem with Linux not that's part of it? If there's one thing Linux continues to struggle in is graphics. I had my machine go bonkers on me Friday with the graphics. I gave up and installed the next Ubuntu Mate. But yeah, that's a continual problem. One thing here, I'm not putting blame on any specific company. The purpose of this conversation is not to apply blame. Okay, it's just to talk about a situation that I hope gets remedied soon. And I don't care who does it at this point. Once the standard is established, the mass distribution will most likely go away. People won't care about. No, Farron, us geeks, we will care about the other ones. We will still be curious. There will still be life for other distros for the geeks. It will. I don't think that'll be a problem. Preach toss. Yes. Let us pray. Yeah, I don't know what's going on in Linux Mint. They're unhappy there or something. I don't know what's going on. I hope that's not entirely accurate. But anyway. Build a ASRock Des Mini Linux pre-installed Ryzen. Have a write or discard server. I do not. You can catch me here and on MeWe. GB2. Yeah, I don't do this full time, so I can't. Yeah, I don't do this as much as I would like to. I wish I could. Maybe if I was on 5 days a week doing these shows, someone would listen to me and say, "Hey, that guy is screaming on YouTube about a desktop for the masses. We need to shut him up and build one." Anyway. South Africa, HP will install Linux for you. Okay, that's great, Rudy Rude. Good luck if it works without any bugs. That's the problem. If it hasn't been pre-tested or pre-debugged, that can be a problem. Yes, HP will ship a laptop with Linux, not for $400. That is the problem. Now, I can't say it's a problem. It's just not a choice. Yeah. Digital said we will see a Linux kernel. Will they lock down DE? I don't know. Thinking how is the average Joe who has never heard of Linux going to find out? Well, that's what the channel is for, Benjamin. I've been doing this 9 years, so yeah. I think some people have learned from this channel, and they've told me so. We simply need Linux exclusive games. I'm with you, Master. Absolutely. We need like a Halo game for Linux, you know. So instead of the Master Chief, we have the Master Penguin. So let's not have a DE changing tool in Linux desktop. Okay, well again, that's an option. HP works flawlessly per OS. Very good. No need for a Chromebook. Well, some people like their Chromebooks for people who just want to get on the web, Johan, and that's it. They don't want to upgrade to Windows 10. Chromebooks are perfect. Perfect. The Linux community needs to agree on one standard desktop. At least as an option for the masses, yes. They don't have to give up their distro hopping. That's not what I am saying. But for the masses to make it easier, yes. Let me go back here. We're talking about most users, though, with regard to distribution argument. Not the we're talking about newbies, not the geeks. Yes, yeah. This channel, and like I said, it's hard after 13 years of Linux. It's hard to think like a newbie, but I'm trying to. You know, this is for the 98% of or 97% of Windows users or other users who don't use Linux out there. Linux does not get enough exposure in the mainstream. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot on YouTube, but evidently it's not enough. Yeah, there's something wrong with Linux Mint. There's some. I'm not sure what's going on, Kyrie. Go to their website, the forum. Maybe you can get better information there. Apparently, there's some politics, internal rumblings going on. I cannot verify it, so. It would be best if it had a already big community. It has a big community. YouTube is a wonderful community for Linux. You know, a lot of us do this for free or for very little money. GB, You know, it's a challenge, but we do it because we believe in it and we like it. You know. Anyway. Hello, Steve. Oh my. Did my machine stop? It did. My washer, my clothes are in there. Anyway, let me try and catch up here. Again, if I missed anybody in the chat, sorry about that. Yours came with Suzy Enterprise Desktop. Okay. Yeah, Vince, I think this is a great open and frank, friendly discussion on the article. The Linux desktop is in trouble. It's not in trouble for us. For the masses, it's non-existent. I guess that's where the trouble lies. But it's not in trouble for us, obviously. But I would like to change this for the masses in any way that I can. I think almost anybody can agree that the base for a standard Linux desktop should be Debian or... I have no problem with that. Ubuntu was my very first, so yeah. So yeah, HP Dell shipped with a computer Linux, but that just means someone has to be looking for it. Yes. Again, none of these are the sweet price of $400. It looks like I'm caught up with the chat. Okay, 5-minute warning, guys, and I really need to start my day. I want to thank everybody for stopping by for this lively discussion. These are always terrific. Again, if somebody new is watching this, I'm running a form of Linux called Ubuntu Mate, or it's pronounced Ubuntu Mate. This is still a beta as of this recording. Wait till the final release and install it. But even this beta seems stable for the most part. The only app that doesn't work is the ticker app, the news feeder, but that's okay. Farron, this is all speculation, not GNOME or Pat. You know, this is all speculation. Even GNOME, the GNOME shell, the GNOME was a GNOME 3.3 would be fine for newbies with a couple extensions. 2 or 3 extensions with GNOME, I think, is perfectly fine. Pre-tested, pre-debugged. I have no problem with that. Yeah, the OBS icon. I know. Look at that. It's huge. That's okay. Look, I'm not that picky when it comes to looks, as long as it works. But yeah, that OBS is, yeah. It's like Bernie said, it's huge. Bernie's coming to Pittsburgh, son. I might have to go see him. I like Bernie. Huge. Anyway. Anyway. Yeah, again, this is still a beta, so I don't expect everything to work. So, yeah, I don't recommend newbies installing any beta. Unless you have a separate machine, then absolutely install anything, even Arch if you want to. If you have a separate machine, separate hard drive, nothing wrong with that. It won't, though, without a system tray. You won't realize how many leverage a system tray in Windows and Mac OS. Okay, all right. Well, no, I don't, I guess. System tray icon, yeah. Again, we're all just, you know, wondering, speculating, wishing here, and there's nothing wrong with that. So, all I know is, you know, I would like to see something in the store, you know, where a mom and dad or whatever walks in, and they say, "What's this?" And I'm like, "Well, let me show you." How long did it take you to update Windows 10? All day. And I go, "Really? Let's update Ubuntu." Okay, so this is how. Hey, the updates are done. No, really, the updates are done. Is that fast enough for you? You think somebody wouldn't buy that machine? At least to try. GNOME doesn't have a system tree. Again, a couple extensions, Farron, user-friendly extensions can fix all that. Pre-tested. Yeah, the problem is the AUR, Benjamin. I think that's what screwed up my Manjaro a few years ago. It totally messed it up, and I was like, that's it, I'm done. I call it the Arch useless repository. As a joke. Anyway, all right. Well, looks like this beta version of Ubuntu Mate held up pretty good. So thank you, Martin Wimpress, lead developer for Ubuntu Mate, another stellar release, a Linux gold standard in my opinion. At least for beginners, everything seems to work pretty good, or mostly everything. All right, I do need to start my day. Again, thanks everybody for stopping by at the last minute. Thank you for all of your support for the channel. If you would like to support the channel for more live shows, check out the links below in the show notes. And I guess I'll catch you. I'm not sure when I'll be on again. It may not be till next week, so I do need to take off. So yeah, it's a joke. The arch useless repository, the AUR. It's just a joke. It didn't work for me, so. All right, my friends, I do need to go. Thank you again. I'm sure we'll continue this discussion in the future until we see a National Linux desktop, right? I will not give up. I have a dream. Arrivederci.